The entire world waited 1,000 years for the arrival of the Chosen One, but nobody ever imagined we would witness the greatest prophetic terror ever recorded in the annals of mystical history. Picture this for a moment. You're one of the eternal guardians who dedicated your entire life to studying the destiny scriptures. You know every word, every symbol, every prophecy carved into the sacred scrolls. And then, before your very eyes, the Savior who was supposed to free the world from eternal darkness begins to grow younger day by day, gradually transforming into a confused and frightened teenager. The ancient elders are in absolute panic. The oracle's crystal has shattered from the sheer impossibility of what's happening, and the most terrifying part. The destiny scrolls never ever mentioned anything about reverse aging. If you want to understand what's really happening behind the scenes of this prophecy and what secrets have been hidden by the ancient guardians, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and comment down below if you already suspected that the Chosen One could defy even time itself. But what you're about to discover next will shock you to your very core. According to the keepers of the Eternal Library, the original prophecy spoke of a warrior who would rise when darkness consumed the realm, wielding powers beyond mortal comprehension to bring balance to a world on the brink of annihilation. For centuries, scholars, mystics, and seers interpreted every line, every mystical symbol, preparing the entire realm for the arrival of this legendary figure. The prophecy was crystal clear. When shadows devour the light and evil reigns supreme, the chosen shall emerge, growing stronger with each battle, until darkness itself bows before their might. Can you imagine the absolute horror when instead of growing stronger, the Chosen One began shrinking back into adolescence? The Council of Seven Sages had spent decades preparing for a mighty warrior, training armies, forging legendary weapons, building fortresses, only to watch their prophesied savior transform from a powerful adult champion into a 16-year-old who barely remembers how to wield the sword of eternal light. The truth is far more sinister than we ever imagined. Deep within the forbidden vaults of the Northern Oracles lies a secret that has been hidden for over 2 millennia. Ancient texts speak of the time curse, a mystical phenomenon so dangerous that even mentioning it was punishable by eternal banishment. But here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. Some scholars now believe that the Chosen One's reverse aging isn't a curse at all. It might be the key to unlocking a power so immense that it could either save or completely destroy every living soul in existence. Think about this carefully. What if the prophecy was deliberately mistranslated? What if the ancient phrase, growing stronger with each battle, was actually supposed to read, growing younger with each victory? The implications are absolutely staggering. If this interpretation is correct, then every battle the Chosen One wins, every evil they defeat, brings them one step closer to, what exactly? Total powerlessness as a child, or perhaps the ultimate form of power that can only be accessed through complete innocence. But wait, there's more that will completely blow your mind. According to the guardians of the Crystal Sanctum, strange cosmic signs began appearing months before the Chosen One's arrival. The moons aligned in patterns not seen for 3,000 years. Ancient magical artifacts started glowing spontaneously, and most disturbing of all, the sands of time themselves began flowing backwards in sacred hourglasses across the realm. Did the universe itself know what was coming? Were these warning signs that everyone misinterpreted? The political chaos this has unleashed is beyond anything the kingdom has ever experienced. Think about it. You have armies trained to follow an adult warrior into the final battle against ultimate evil. And instead, they're looking at a teenager who keeps asking when dinner is served and whether he can take a break to practice magic tricks. The neighboring kingdoms are in complete uproar. Some see this as the perfect opportunity to invade, believing the prophecy has failed. Others are terrified that this might be an even more powerful version of divine intervention, something so beyond their understanding that attacking would bring catastrophic consequences. Here's where the story takes an absolutely chilling turn. The Shadow Lords, the very enemies the Chosen One was meant to defeat, are not celebrating this apparent weakness. In fact, according to spies within the Dark Citadel, they're more terrified than ever before. Ancient demons who have lived for millennia are fleeing to the furthest corners of reality. Why would creatures of ultimate evil fear a teenager more than they feared a full-grown warrior? What do they know about reverse aging that we don't? The Oracle of the Southern Winds has made a proclamation that has sent shockwaves through every magical community. The younger the vessel, the purer the conduit for divine power. But is this divine intervention, or something far more mysterious and potentially dangerous? Some mystics believe that as the Chosen One continues to age backwards, they're approaching a state of absolute magical purity that could unleash forces beyond mortal comprehension. Others fear that once they reach infancy, they might simply vanish from existence entirely, taking the world's only hope with them. Can you imagine the moral dilemma facing the kingdom's leaders right now? Do they continue to follow a prophesied savior who's getting younger and seemingly weaker by the day? Or do they take matters into their own hands and risk defying divine will? The High Council meets in secret every night, debating whether to attempt magical interventions to stop the aging process, or whether such interference might doom them all. But here's the most terrifying revelation that's been hidden until now. Deep in the Chronos caves, ancient timekeepers have discovered something that changes everything. Carved into stone, older than recorded history, is a secondary prophecy, one that was deliberately erased from all known copies of the Destiny Scrolls. It speaks of the innocent destroyer, a being of such pure power that they could reshape reality itself, but only by returning to a state of complete innocence. The passage warns that when the Chosen One reaches the age of 7, they will either ascend to godhood or unmake existence itself. Leave a comment below and tell me what you think is really happening to our Chosen One. Is this divine intervention ancient magic gone wrong, or something even more mysterious? The ramifications extend far beyond just one kingdom. Reports are flooding in from across the known world of similar phenomena. In the Eastern Empire, their sacred guardian has aged backwards 5 years in 2 months. The Ice Kingdoms report their frost prophet now appears as a young adult, instead of the ancient seer they once knew. Are we witnessing a universal reset of some kind? Is this happening to chosen warriors across all realms simultaneously? The Cosmic Council of Mages believes this might be connected to an ancient spell cast by the first gods themselves, designed to activate only when the universe faces its greatest threat. The magical implications alone are staggering. As the Chosen One grows younger, their magical signature is becoming increasingly unstable, yet paradoxically more powerful. Spells that once required enormous effort now manifest with just a thought, but they've also accidentally turned an entire forest into candy and transformed a serious war council, meeting into what witnesses describe as the most epic pillow fight in recorded history. The Academy of Mystical Arts is in complete chaos, trying to understand how someone can become more magically potent while losing decades of learned control and wisdom. But perhaps the most disturbing development is what's happening to the Chosen One's memories. They remember being an adult. They remember their training, their battles, their purpose. But these memories are starting to feel like distant dreams to their increasingly youthful mind. They're beginning to think more like a teenager, getting distracted by things that would never have bothered their adult self. What happens to the world's salvation when your savior starts caring more about whether their crush likes them back than about defeating ancient evils? The religious communities are completely split. The Orthodox believers maintain that this is clearly a test of faith, and that true believers must continue to follow the Chosen One regardless of their apparent age. The progressive clerics argue that this transformation is actually the prophecy fulfilling itself in a way no one anticipated, revealing that ultimate power requires ultimate innocence. Meanwhile, the heretical sects claim this proves the entire prophecy was a lie from the beginning, designed to keep people hopeful while darker forces manipulated events from behind the scenes. Ancient texts from the lost civilization of Atlantiara speak of similar events occurring during their final days. Their chosen champion also began aging backwards during their greatest hour of need. The texts describe increasing power coupled with decreasing wisdom, ultimate magical ability combined with childlike decision-making. The civilization vanished 3 days after their chosen one reached the mental age of 5. Did they ascend to a higher plane of existence, or were they completely annihilated? The texts end abruptly, leaving scholars with more questions than answers. Intelligence reports from across enemy territories reveal something absolutely shocking. The Dark Lords aren't just afraid, they're preparing for something called the Innocence Protocol. Ancient demonic texts speak of a prophecy within a prophecy, warning that when purity and power combine in a single being, it creates what they call a reality anchor, something so fundamentally good and powerful that evil itself cannot exist in the same universe. Are the forces of darkness preparing for their own extinction, or do they know something about this reverse aging process that could turn it to their advantage? The time manipulation aspect is perhaps the most concerning. Chrono mages report that time itself is becoming unstable around the Chosen One. Clocks run backwards in their presence. Aged wine becomes grape juice. Elderly advisors temporarily regain their youth just by standing too close. If this effect continues to intensify, could the entire kingdom be pulled into a temporal vortex? Some theorists believe the Chosen One might be unconsciously trying to return to a time before evil existed in the world, potentially unraveling reality itself in the process. But here's what's really going to blow your mind. What if this isn't happening to just our Chosen One? What if every prophesied savior throughout history has gone through this exact same process? And we're only now witnessing it because this is the first time in recorded history that the transformation is happening slowly enough to observe. Ancient legends speak of heroes who achieved immortality through innocence. What if they weren't speaking metaphorically? What if previous chosen ones successfully completed this reverse aging process and became something beyond our understanding of existence itself? The question that keeps every advisor, every mystic, every citizen awake at night is this: when the chosen one reaches childhood, will they still remember their purpose? Will a 7-year-old have the moral fortitude to make decisions that affect billions of lives? Or will they be so pure, so innocent, that they'll instinctively know exactly what needs to be done without any of the doubt and corruption that comes with adult thinking? The stakes couldn't be higher, and time is literally running out. Or should I say, running backwards. Comment below with your theories about what will happen when our teenage savior becomes a child. And don't forget to subscribe for more shocking revelations about prophecies that are rewriting themselves before our very eyes.